Important book. For real, go and get these two books. Like, these are extremely important, especially for our community to read and nail down and really get to the heads of it, because especially our generation, we have the power to change the black story. We have the power to change the dialogue and create differences and changes, you know, within our community, together as a community, and realize who we are, acknowledge that, love that, know where to go with that, and recognize not only see the value and know the value, but recognize it and live the value and the love within who we are and who we really were, and not being nailed down and seen as these inferior beings, and just recognizing the downfall of our people, and also recognize the resilience and the strength and just how they came from that to the fact that we are even here now. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's very important, to not only recognize the pain and everything that they had to go through, but also recognize the resilience and the strength and what they carried along with them. So I feel like that's very important too. The next book that I will recommend is Afeni Shakur, rest in peace Afeni, Evolution of a Revolutionary by Jasmine Guy. It goes into depth about her story before the Panthers, during the Panthers, the case, and everything that she had to deal with that. She even goes into her daughter's story and how she was there for her, and she goes into a lot about the Black Panthers and what was going on within the Black Panthers and some of the guys within the Black Panthers, and even some of the ladies that were within the Black Panthers. Her dealing with drugs and her children when she was on like crack and stuff like that, and even after that, her redemption, how she changed her name and why she changed her name. So she goes into depth about that. It's a really good book, and I'm glad it explored her story and it didn't include, you know, all of Tupac, because this is about her and the things that she did for the Black community, because she did a lot, and she, you know, had programs for children, and I heard she started WIC, and you know, within the Black Panther, she had programs for children, you know, bringing them in to feed and clothe them and different things like that. And it goes into depth with more of that, of what she did within the Black Panther. She was over that, and she was a very powerful voice within the group. So I recommend this highly. To learn more about Miss Afeni Shakur, she's a very important character. She's just right along with, I would say, Huey P. Newton, Assata Shakur, Angela Davis, and Carmichael. So I would definitely push you guys to read this. The book I would like to share is 12 Million Black Voices, a text by Richard Wright, and it goes into the story of basically us, you know, taking the scraps for whatever we could for survival. It goes into slave patrol, how that turned into the police force, and basically pig codes, how they would basically scrap up Black men and women and stuff for petty crimes. You know, you could throw a paper towel on the floor and you can go to jail for that. And basically the start of the mass incarceration and the false incarceration that we deal with today, the new slavery, the new Jim Crow that we deal with today. It goes into depth about that. It also goes into depth about how after slavery, the sharecropping, and how that basically was the new slavery. It goes into depth about the different slavery tactics they would use, that they were basically changed and make it seem as if it was obsolete, but in reality it wasn't. How they would go to different lands and pick fruits and do all this stuff for little to nothing. How their houses would burn down and different things like that. The shacks that they lived in. And even when they moved into the cities for jobs that they were supposedly promised would be better for them, and how they would get money, they were basically tricked. And then brought into these communities, and how the daddy wouldn't want to be home because he would want to escape the horrors and the things that were going on at home, because they lived in scrap apartments. Teen pregnancy, violence within young men. It goes into depth about that. I think I did a book review on that, so check that out. And I will obviously tell you guys to check out the books. A lot of picture diction, this photo essays. I'm so sorry I'm like talking like this, but yeah. And the apartments would be expensive, but they would like one room, and look at it. It looked like a bomb blew off. And it also talks about how they Christianity was a sense of hope to them. So they held that as a sense of hope that one day they would be free from all this, the little song rituals and hymns that they would sing during that time. So yeah, I recommend this book highly. Along with PTSD, like these three books to me goes in like, yes, along with the history book too. Another book by Angela Davis, Women, Race, and Class. I didn't get to read this book yet, but my sister read it and she said it was really good. But obviously, Women, Race, and Class, and it talks about, I read some of her lectures and interviews, so that's why I highly recommend this. But she talks about, she starts from slavery, that's where I'm at, about how the women were bed warmers and how they were seen as breeders like animals to just basically breed the kids, take care of the kids, and different things like that. But that's where I am with that. When I'm done, I will give a book review. But obviously, Race and Class, she talks about, you know, feminine things and womanism and stuff like that within this book. Anti-slavery movement, the birth of women's rights. That's the chapter I'm about to get into. So I would definitely recommend this book. Yeah. Last but surely not least, Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eyes. I don't know why this book reminds me of The Color Purple, maybe because of the color. But I'm into the beginning of the book. Like I said, I didn't read this one throughout yet. I'm on page 25, but it reminds me of like just the life of them during the 1900s, like the black mother, the daughter, and you know how they was the mass incarceration and the false incarceration that we deal with today, the new slavery, the new Jim Crow that we deal with today. It goes into depth about that. It also goes into depth about how after slavery, the sharecropping, and how that basically was the new slavery. It goes into depth about the different slavery tactics they would use, that they were basically changed and make it seem as if it was obsolete, but in reality it wasn't. How they would go to different lands and pick fruits and do all this stuff for little to nothing, how their houses would burn down and different things like that, the shacks that they lived in, and even when they moved into the cities for jobs that they were supposedly promised would be better for them and how they would get money, they were basically tricked. And then brought into these communities and how the daddy wouldn't want to be home because he would want to escape the horrors and the things that were going on at home because they lived in scrap apartments. Teen pregnancy, violence within young men. It goes into depth about that. I think I did a book review on that, so check that out, and I will obviously tell you guys to check out the books. A lot of picture diction, this photo essays. I'm so sorry I'm like talking like this, but yeah. And the apartments would be expensive, but they was like one room, and look how it looked like a bomb blew off. And it also talks about how Christianity was a sense of hope to them. So they held that as a sense of hope that one day they would be free from all this, the little song rituals and hymns that they would sing during that time. So yeah, I recommend this book highly. Along with PTSD, like these three books to me goes in like, yes, along with the history book too. Another book by Angela Davis, Women, Race, and Class. I didn't get to read this book yet, but my sister read it and she said it was really good. But obviously, Women, Race, and Class, and it talks about, I read some of her lectures and interviews, so that's why I highly recommend this. But she talks about, she starts from slavery, that's where I'm at, about how the women were bed warmers and how they were seen as breeders like animals to just basically breed the kids, take care of the kids, and different things like that. But that's where I am with that. When I'm done, I will give a book review. But obviously, Race and Class, she talks about, you know, feminine things and womanism and stuff like that within this book. Anti-slavery movement, the birth of women's rights. That's the chapter I'm about to get into. So I would definitely recommend this book. Yeah. Last but surely not least, Toni Morrison, The Bluest Eyes. I don't know why this book reminds me of The Color Purple, maybe because of the color. But I'm into the beginning of the book. Like I said, I didn't read this one throughout yet. I'm on page 25, but it reminds me of like just the life of them during the 1900s, like the black mother, the daughter, and you know how they would speak and stuff like that. It reminds me of that. But I've heard this is a really good book from many different people, like English teachers, people that just read it and stuff like that. but it explores her life. The Bluest Eye is Toni's first novel, a book heralded for its richness of language and boldness of vision. Set in the author's girlhood hometown of Lauren, Ohio, it tells the story of Black 11-year-old Piccola Breedlove. Piccola prays for her eyes to turn blue so that she would be as beautiful and beloved. Oh yeah, as the doll that she had. Yeah, she had this doll and she would look like her. Blue-eyed children of America. In the autumn of 1941, the year the marigolds in the Breedlove's garden did not bloom, Piccola's life does change in painful, devastating ways. So I can't wait to get more into depth with this book. But to me, when it comes to books like this, the beginning, I'll be like, I just want to get into the story, but you know, they gotta set the setting and the tone of the book. So, you know, I can't wait to finish this. I bought it for a reason. So I would definitely recommend this book too. Add it to your literature. So that's the end of my books I would recommend for you to read. These aren't the only books that I would recommend, but these are like the 15 that I've read, and some of them I've gone through and I'm basically either into it a little, halfway done, which is probably like 3 or 4 books out of this pile. But these are the books that I recommend you to educate yourself on if you want to know, if you want to gain some wisdom and knowledge on the Black struggle, the Black culture, the Black story. Learn a little, understand a little more. If there's some things that you have questions on, answer these questions. These books provide a lot of answers. And yeah, not only to learn about the story, but to instill pride and love and value within yourself and recognize who you are and who your people truly were, because these books that they give us in school were rewritten so we don't know the history of our people. Like, and this explores it so much. And even like in this book, it tells you, where is the book? Tells you who basically took certain parts of our history, like Greek and stuff like that, and some of the art, and how they made it into their history. So it goes into that too, and it goes back, a lot of these books go back to Egypt. So it's very important to learn about these different things and about the misinterpretation of our history and the different things that were lost and stolen and just that. So I feel like it's very important because our generation, we have the power to change our situation by doing it for ourselves, for our community, you know, for yourself and your community, because this world and these people that own the world and that created these systems within the world, they don't care. You know, we're still under these systems, and we're still, you know, subjected to racism and housing discrimination, systemic racism, whatever you want to say that is, institutional racism, false incarceration, just a redesigned system that were meant to keep Black people under genocide and oppression for years to come. So I feel like it's very important to read, gain the knowledge, understand, even just paying attention to what they say, because they even say this in front of your face, to pay attention and become conscious and aware of the world around you and the truth within the world. You know, the truth, not the, oh, I don't see race and we are all the human. It's just like all those are blinders to the truth. They don't want you to know the truth. They just want you to be blinded and be like, you shouldn't really matter about that because we're all one, and so on and so forth. And it's like, that's not how the world is. That's not how the world sees. That's not the real world. Sure, we should all be one, but that's not how it is. So I feel like it is very important to be informed, seek the truth, and, you know, if you want to share it with love. So peace out. It's Queen Left. Check out the book drive that I'm doing for the inner city kids in Rochester. New single out, EP coming out soon. So hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think. Like and support my Facebook page. All the information, poems, and articles will be on there. Links will be on there. So have an awesome day.